what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy LSU spring football here. And Hunt Palmer has a good write-up on LouisianaSports.net talking about three names that have stood out through 2 weeks with a couple of weeks remaining here. And I do want to get into the names because they're interesting. But one of the names brings up a larger conversation that I also want to have here, okay? And Hunt writes about Chris Hilton, Jack Pyburn, and Deshaun Spears. Spears interesting. We just talked about him on Friday, so this is furthering that conversation. Of course, Jack Pyburn we've talked about as well thus far. Complete psycho Cro-Magnon looking jawline.
Blake Baker did confirm he's up for meathead of the team.
Yeah.
I
mean, with that, know, we've seen the mic'd up videos, of course. But then the first name off the list for Hunt is Chris Hilton. And this is exciting for a couple of reasons. We all know. We've talked about Chris Hilton a ton on this show. It's a guy who I believe you're probably a win better last year if you have Chris Hilton. Maybe even 2 wins better. Like that's how thin the margins were on last year's team. Mm-hmm. If you have Chris Hilton, I think you probably play in the SEC championship because you were very close. Remember, you beat Florida, and you're in that game. So of course, Chris Hilton's doing well. Look at how he finished the season, and he was dominating camp last year and everything. So that's great to hear on Hilton. But here's my bigger question. Do y'all believe that Chris Hilton will be wide receiver 1? Because Nick Anderson is the other name in here as another guy that's a huge body that 2 years ago at a redshirt freshman in Oklahoma had 10 touchdowns, looked like he was on path to be one of the most complete receivers in the entire country before he ends up getting hurt last season. And when you think of Hilton, we do tend to pigeonhole him as more of a speedster and a deep threat, but is he ready to evolve his game to do a little bit of everything and claim that coveted LSU football wide receiver 1 title?
So here's the exciting thing. I think because you have so many players in that position room that have already shown at the collegiate level that they can dominate games, whoever is receiver 1 is going to have earned receiver 1. It's not going to be given to them. Like you talk about Nick Anderson, did it at Oklahoma, Barian Brown, what he did at Kentucky, what Aaron Anderson did here a year ago, how many big moments he had. Chris Hilton, certainly at the end of the season, what he did. I mean, Xavier Thomas is somebody that you're certainly going to use within the offense as well. So there's so many different weapons. Now, the best part about all these receivers, T, is they're all different for the most part, right? They have different body sizes, different skill sets. And so you do have a lot of speed, but you have it in different ways. You got some quickness with Aaron Anderson as well. And we saw him finish, some of those in the end zone, like against Texas A&M. And so whoever it is going to have to go out there and take it. You're not going to have to just like give it to somebody just because. But right now, you look at Chris Hilton, he has every opportunity to be that guy. I do think he is more than just a straight line, run a go route and go get the football. I think he can give you more than that. He's got to show he can be consistently healthy. Yeah. That's going to be a big part because I know that a lot of people want to pigeonhole a guy like Aaron Anderson. Oh, he's just a slot guy. Okay, that does not mean anything to me, right? Some of the best receivers in the NFL, where did they do most of their work? Out of the slot. Yeah. Okay, so the game has kind of changed there. I love the mentality of Aaron Anderson as well. So, don't let his size, don't allow him playing in the slot to trick you. He absolutely can turn into your go-to number 1 receiver within this offense. Like, I truly believe that. I think he can run every single route. I think that you can give him the ball now at the line of scrimmage, and he can make guys miss, turn into that returner. So it's up for grabs. I don't think there's anybody ahead of anybody right now, but in a good way because I think they're all showing you that they can give this offense something and something a little bit different than the other.
Yeah, and you can argue that Anderson at this point would have the most rapport and trust with Nussmeier over the other receivers as You sort of saw a little bit with Hilton last season, certainly, but we haven't seen it with Nick Anderson. We haven't seen it with Barry and Brown. And Xavier Thomas is almost less of a receiver and more of just let's have him help out in a lot of different ways, right? Like they'll line him up in the backfield, they'll hand him the ball, and rightfully so. He's a guy who you want to get a few valuable touches a game.
And I've kind of had this conversation with different people around town. We're talking about the LSU offense, and I kind of bring up Aaron Anderson kind of like I just did, and they kind of, you could tell, like, take a step back, like, Aaron Anderson? I don't think people realize he was your leading receiver a year ago. Like, I'm not sure people realize he led the team at 884 yards. He had more than Kyron Lacy. He had more than Mason Taylor. He had more than C.J. Daniels. He was your leading receiver. He had 5 touchdowns on the year.
Yeah.
So don't just put Aaron Anderson in this category of, oh, he's a nice slot receiver. We can use him in these 2 situations. He almost had 1,000 yards a year ago. He can be a 1,000-yard receiver in the SEC. He's got that kind of talent.
Taylor, I can see you chomping at the bit to hop in here. Who are you? Where do you fall on this wide receiver 1 conversation?
So it's so funny. I know a lot of people say, well, you have to have a wide receiver 1. Maybe on this team, I kind of disagree just because so many of these guys can do everything. Like, if you ask me who's going to have the most catches coming into the year, I'd probably say Aaron Anderson.
Yes.
But there's a chance Hilton has more yards because he's a deep threat guy. There's a chance Nick Anderson has the most touchdowns because he's a red zone mismatch. Like, I think all these guys are going to be used in different ways. Trey throws a wrench in there just because he's been playing more out wide in spring, which I'm not surprised about. They really like Bauer Sharp, as that traditional tight end. So, I don't think it really matters. And, we talk about, okay, well, Hilton has speed. Can he become that every down receiver, across the middle? He's going to have the opportunity because last year he was kind of your only deep threat. You got a lot more guys. You got Barry and Brown coming in. Jelani Watkins, who we'll get to in weekend winners, he just ran a 10.1 in the 100-meter at LSU track meet over the weekend.
Jeez.
That's a guy, he was undersized last year, so he didn't play a ton, but that's a guy who's probably the fastest guy on the team right now, maybe even more so than Barry and Brown. So Hilton's certainly going to have the opportunity to do it, but I don't know that it matters. I don't know if it matters if you have a wide receiver 1, because Nussmeier likes to spread the ball around anyways.
If this offensive line is good, this will be a top 5 offense in the entire country. And I mean, when I say good, I mean good. I don't mean great, but if they are good, if they can be from a pass blocking perspective, if they can be 75% of what they were last season, and admittedly, you'd want them to be a bit better in the run game, and really you want the run game to improve overall from a design and calling standpoint, just top to bottom. But if this offensive line can be good, Nuss returning with these weapons, again, you should be a top 5 offense in the entire country.
One of the good things, and I know there's a lot of people that, what Taylor just said, you don't really have a true number 1, and they kind of use that as a negative. I do think that you can spread the football out, and it can be somebody different in different situations. And as we look at last year, Aaron Anderson, 884. Kyron Lacy had 866.
Yeah.
Mason Taylor had 546. C.J. Daniels had 480. So that's what you did
It's gonna be similar
a year
to
ago,
that.
and you had a very efficient offense. Here's what you have to pair with what we just said: the ability to run the football when you want to. That's the thing that you have to have. It ain't a receiver 1. You can have 4 guys that go out there and have over 500 yards receiving. You just have to be able to turn around, hand the ball off, and be positive in the run game way more than you were a year ago.
That's true. That is the main. What's the word I'm looking for? What's a weather vane? Whatever. That'll be the main factor that decides the ultimate potential of the offense. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.